We all love Terraria, right? Well, not for me.
You what?
Let me explain myself. I started playing this February, killed a bunch of pre-hard mode bosses, built 5 gigantic elevators across the map, and uninstalled the game. However, a friend of mine has asked me to play the game again, and so I agreed. Just roll the video at this point to stop you guys from waiting. After a lot of mining, I found a lava charm and crafted the Terra Spark boots. Since my village is a little bit unorganized, I decided to rebuild one. Right after building most of it and organizing my chests, I rested for a while to fly a kite. I then set up my workstations, destroyed the multiple shoe boxes outside my base, and it is officially complete.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Let's just say my building skills are way below average. I crafted a set of bee armor and shot a bunch of bees to help me fend off the blood moon. I also got the mechanic to maximum happiness with a goblin roommate. I wonder what events led to that moment. Afterwards, I cleared out achievements like Die Hard and Head in the Clouds. I found a slime stuck in a tree and offered him a copper short sword, which transformed him into the 4th town slime. We need 4 more for the Great Slime Mitosis achievement. If you're wondering why I have a post-golem pixel, basically my friend dropped it to me while building the final elevator together and he forgot to take it back. I used the pixel to my advantage and built myself fishing spots for each individual biome, except the mushroom biome, and filled them up with water. I consulted with the angler and he assigned me with a jungle fish for my first quest. After killing some annoying slimes, I got the fish. I delivered the fresh catch to the angler and that gave me my first fishing achievement. It didn't take long for me to complete my 10th quest. Wait, what do you mean by slave? At least I get paid in Master Debate. While waiting for the angler's quests to reset, I caught myself a golden squirrel, which has a 3% chance of spawning. And after completing more and more fishing quests, I crafted the fish finder and eventually the cell phone. And after handing in 30 fresh fish, the angler rewards us with a golden fishing rod, which I dumped in the midway hard mode. Later, I thrusted my rod into the lava and got the Hot Reels achievement. After a bit of grinding, I stopped for a bit and explored the shimmer, which I accidentally dropped a butterfly and earning a shimmer in the dark achievement. I also made an artificial mushroom biome for truffle to move in, and a fishing pond just in case the angler needs me to catch a fish in the mushroom fields. Additionally, I worked on a jungle farm. I also wired it up so I can break the tiles with a lever. And after watching a bunch of tutorials on YouTube, it worked. To celebrate this technological advancement, I turned the golden squirrel I found into a meal only 24 carats can buy. I resumed my fishing duties and accidentally submitted my 50th fish. Then the game saw me cook up my golden squirrel and said, "Oh, let's give him a golden bunny to compensate instead," and I happily took it as my gift. I also made an enchanted sword seed and grabbed said sword, which is one of the missing components I need to craft the zenith. While I was messing around in the jungle, I spotted a mystic frog at the corner of my eye.
Target spotted.
I beelined towards it, and after 2 whiffs and definitely not under a lot of pressure, I purified it into the 5th town slime. After fishing for 100 times, I got burnt out and bombed the caravan that is underneath my base, and then built the perimeters for my mob farm. Since this is an achievements video and not a building video, I will provide the full unedited footage in the description. After 3 hours of building, the farm is officially complete. The farm will be pivotal for early hard mode in order for me to get some OP starter loot a lot of coins, and potentially a Rod of Discord. While building for the mob farm, I fished during the blood moon in hopes of getting the Shirley slime to move in. And just 30 minutes before the next day, I got it. It was so dark, I'm so glad that the mouse identified it. After the square and mystic slimes have moved in, I only need 2 more for the Great Slime Mitosis achievement. At that point, I felt like I'm ready for hard mode and challenged the Wall of Flesh. The fight itself is very simple for melee. You just have to spam Knight's Edge to the eye and he just melts. However, I was not expecting him to move twice as fast in his final phase. After failing to get him 2 times, I learned from my mistakes and eventually put the nail in his coffin, or rather, in his eyeballs. A brief victory, as hard mode will soon be upon us. After fending off the local threats, I collected the loot from the Wall of Flesh, including a pawn helmet, a warrior's emblem, and most importantly, a demon heart, which allows a 6th accessory slot when consumed. Truffle decided it was a good time to move in while I was fighting the hordes of hell. I realized I was not built like Doomslayer and dipped out of there, just like a father when he sees the child support. I checked in on Truffle and he sells the dark blue solution. It's useless for now since I'm not playing ranged. However, we might use it to terraform our mob farm after one mechanical boss is defeated. For now, we have to break at least 3 demon altars to release hard mode ores and have access to early hard mode gear. I broke way more than 3 since I thought breaking more would give you more ores. I certainly hope there is no consequences in the future related to this course of action. I teleported back to the surface to get back to the mob farm. While I was en route to there, I found myself a vein of palladium ore sticking out. I mined it and got the extra shiny achievement. I spent some time AFKing in the mob farm and occasionally get licked to death by hallowed mimics. My time was well spent as I got myself a Titan Glove and even a mechanical worm which is used to summon the Destroyer. I used the Titan Glove and the Pharaoh Claws to craft the Power Glove, which is required to craft the Fire Gauntlet. However, this accessory is only available after you have defeated the 3 mechanical bosses. Sadly, my armor only has a total of 25 defense, and I'll have to get adamantite armor in order to have a chance with the mechanical bosses. With my to-do list updated, I grabbed some Spelunker potions and went on an expedition in the caverns. I mined surplus mithril ore and just enough adamantite ore for me to craft a full set of adamite armor, an adamite sword, a mithril anvil, and an adamantite forge for me to convert hard mode ores into bars. I also discovered a friendly slime dangling from a balloon in the sky lake, so I shot it down. She will be the 7th town slime moving into our residence. After getting a full set, I've stayed in the farm for a while in hopes to get a Rod of Discord, which only has a 0.2% chance to drop from Chaos Elementals. After 3.5 hours of waiting and cheesing hallowed mimics with lava, I finally got my prize.
Never tell me the odds.
Although it is pretty OP, it is limited by its ability to consume health when teleporting. I then spent some time in the icy caverns farming for the icicle and the amrock, both good starter weapons for melee. And remember when I broke several demon altars without a care in the world? My ice biome is unfortunately corrupted. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. And after a bit of dying, I finally got the icicle. After farming a bunch of harpies and the occasional wyverns, which I foolishly didn't record, I used a giant harpy feather and 20 souls of light to craft the harpy wings, which are vastly superior to the thin wings I had equipped. I was confident in my setup and thus summoned the twins pirates to challenge them. However, I overestimated my damage output.
That shit is fucking trash!
And to the surprise of no one, I died. And I died. And I died again. I realized the icicle might not be a good option, so I switched to the M-Rock instead. And with a yo-yo glove, a green counterweight, and white string, I forged the yo-yo bag, which allows the yo-yo to have a lot more range and have multiple yo-yos at once. The game kindly offered me test subjects in the form of a pirate invasion, and for a starter weapon, it sure does deal damage. The pirates also do a lot of damage to me too. And after killing a bunch of pirates, a Flying Dutchman suddenly spawned out of nowhere and took me by surprise. After getting farmed by the pirate invasion for over 2 in-game days and turning my village into a local graveyard, I accidentally learned to trap the Dutchman by using buildings to my advantage.
Oh my god, stop bro, I'm stuck. Can you help me?
I got you, homie!
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, bitch, you killed me a dozen of times. How does it feel now that you are stuck in the corner, just like the bitch-ass cuck you are? I hope Gordon Ramsay raised your food. I hope low-tier God gives you life advice. I've won, but at what cost?
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Anyways, after destroying the Dutchman, I killed the rest of the pirates and earned myself the respective trophy. I also learned the existence of a greater healing potion and therefore farmed many pixies for it. By combining a surplus of pixie dust, crystal shards and bottled water, I was able to craft 514 bottles of greater healing potions, which offer 50 more healing in contrast to the great healing potion. The pixies also dropped megaphones and fast clocks, which I'll use to craft 2 of the components needed for the Ankh charm. I then farmed a couple of medusas for the pocket mirror and used it plus several other ingredients to craft the armor bracing and the reflective shades, which are also required for the Ankh charm. After purifying the tortured soul into the tax collector, I summoned the destroyer since people say it's the easiest, and I accidentally discovered you can cheese it by summoning him under buildings. The main problem about this cheesing method is that my yo-yo has significantly less piercing power than the Daltea's Stormbow. And with a whopping 120k health and annoying minions, time was our greatest enemy. Due to this, I always get carelessly aggressive at the end, which costed me. And after countless attempts of failure, ladies and gentlemen, we got his ass. First mechanical boss down. After collecting the rewards from the destroyer, my victory was short-lived when pirates jumped me out of nowhere. While cheesing the Flying Dutchman, a solar eclipse happened. First the destroyer, then the pirate invasion, and now a solar eclipse? This game wants me dead. After cheesing the Flying Dutchman and the remaining pirates once again, I took on the dark forces of the solar eclipse. This lunar event is so much better than the Blood Moon since you only get 1 or 2 enemies added in hard mode, whereas in this event every enemy is new and even drops some incredible loot. After surviving against hordes of vampires and Isers for far too long, the game awards us with the achievement, Kill the Sun. The last time I killed the sun, it drove me insane. I later checked on the jungle farm and there was a live fruit waiting for me to be consumed. After a series of live fruit picking, the steampunker arrived in fantastic timing since my mob farm is predominated in a hollow biome, so I'll need the Claminator and a bunch of green solutions to clear out the hollow. However, this costed a small fortune of 13 platinum coins. I then got distracted by the full moon and farmed a couple of werewolves until one of them dropped an adhesive bandage. With that, I combined it with the Bazoa to craft the medicated bandage, and together with the rest of the ingredients, I crafted the Ankh charm, then combined it with the obsidian shield to make the Ankh shield. I resumed my terraforming duties and cleaned up the hollow surrounding my biome farm, Although this method is expensive, it worked. I can finally farm Souls of Night and other loot like both the Hallowed and the Corrupted Keys, and acquired the Yelets, which the stats are vastly superior to that of the Amarok. After getting a major upgrade, I challenged the twins. However, with much greater firepower, I still haven't learned their moveset, especially underestimating the cursed flamethrower, which one time deleted my health instantly. Mix that with 5 constant barrages, this puts insane pressure on an inexperienced player like me. The Shield of Cthulhu and the Rod of Discord are very important assets in the fight. Once you learn to use the Rod of Discord and teleport at the right move, this fight is very easy. Somehow in this run I was able to last long enough to endure the final phase. I will never hear these words from any humanoid female in my entire life. Where was I again? Ah yes, the final phase of the twins. Honestly, this phase is the easiest, as all you need to do is you just fly up and then down when he starts spamming those lasers. You are a worthy opponent, however, skill issue. The next night I challenged Skeletron Prime, and this is hands down the easiest mechanical boss. By flying in circles around him, you can easily avoid most of his attacks. The only hard thing about him is the spinning head move. Since I got hard conditioned by pre-hardmode Skeletron, I can usually avoid that move. I can also use Rod of Discord if I ever got stuck in the head. Skeletron, I respect the fact that you are putting up a good fight. However, you fail to recognize that I'm simply better than you and this arena ain't big enough for the two of us. Before heading to the jungle, I used 20 Souls of Might, Fright and Sight and a Knight's Edge to craft the True Knight's Edge, 12 hallowed bars to craft the Excalibur. I also crafted the mechanical glove and paired that with a magma stone. We finally crafted the fire gauntlet. I mined the chlorophyte sticking next to my farm and got me the achievement. During that time I also got the topped off and the Drag's attack achievement. However, my dumbass forgot to press the record button.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Anyways, I then AFK'd in my newly terraformed jungle farm and got some turtle shells, tattered bee wings, butterfly dust, and even biome keys. Afterwards, I farmed a couple of wyverns to craft the bee wings. I then went on a caving trip and mined over 500 chlorophyte ore to make myself a set of turtle armor and true Excalibur. I built a gigantic Plantera arena, lighted the whole place up, and accidentally summoned the Torch God. At first sight this may look intimidating, but after seeing each torch dealing 19 damage, I resumed spamming torches all over the arena. After surviving long enough, the place lights back up again. I then used the Torch God's favor to earn the achievement. With preparations done, I challenged Plantera. She moves pretty slow in the first phase. All you need to do is circle around her and do damage. The Ankh Shield is a great accessory in this fight since it nullifies poison debuffs. Once you get her low, she transforms into a carnivorous flower and attempts to bite you to death. Oh boy, did she gobble me up several times. I later adapted to use the true Excalibur in both phases since the True Knight's Edge's projectiles are slightly delayed and I don't like it. I did fairly well in this run, however the Rod of Discord griefed me so hard in this. I know the Rod of Discord is overpowered, however I request it to be used offhand, similar to how you hold totems in Minecraft. With risky plays of the true Excalibur and constant mess-ups with the Rod of Discord, unfortunately Plantera, Christmas is just around the corner and you're looking fine for a Christmas tree. Just like the popular song, all I want for Christmas is you to die. Shortly after Plantera's death, the cyborg and the princess moved in, earning me the real estate agent achievement. While down here in the AFK farm, I was alerted of a Dr. Bones that has spawned just now, and I pieced him up rather quickly. I opened the doors of the jungle temple and the lizard didn't take it too lightly. After a lot of near-death experiences in the temple, my time there is very much worth it as I got 7 lizard power cells and 11 total solar tablets for me to farm the solar eclipse. I made it into the final room, however I got murked by the traps. Admiral Akbar would not approve of this. After Golem fisted my tiny bum,
What did he say?
I expanded the arena for more movement. And just before I challenged Golem again, the gods above graced me with a solar eclipse. It didn't take long for my target of interest to show up. Oh my god guys, is that a Monsterverse reference? Mothra just does the Diablo special of charging at you every 5 seconds and sometimes does nothing for you to deal damage. For a giant moth, I wished she would have flashed me just like this gremlin in Iceborne.
But I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
After fighting her and her babies for a while, she dropped the broken hero sword and her wings first try. The second Mothra I killed dropped the Eye of Cthulhu, which will be very helpful against a certain boss later on. After a totally calculated reset, I teleported back into my base to craft the Terra Blade. Oh yeah baby, the get back is real. You fools! You fools! You have no idea what you have unleashed today, have you? That moment just feels like Darth Vader, holy shit. I augmented the Terra Blade to godly status. I challenged Golem once again, and this time it went so much smoother as I had more space to move around. In the entirety of the fight, I only pressed the WASD keys, the space bar, and spammed the hell out of the leftmost button. Golem attempts to fist me multiple times in this run, however just like Stephen Hawking he just can't reach me. Golem, more like Golem get the fuck out of here. His death assists in our cause since he dropped enough beetle husks for me to craft a full set of beetle armor. Queen Slime was next on my hit list and oh boy does her health melt like butter against a hot knife. The hot knife is my Terra Blade for your information. And I don't know, Queen, you should go back to the kitchen and clean the mess that you have made. What now, you may ask? Well, summoning a Martian invasion. I cheesed the first few phases since the mobs there don't drop anything useful. After watching me kill fellow Martians, the Martian sorcerer ain't gonna let that slide and jumped me. And this guy is the worst of all. I died a lot from him spamming lasers, missiles and the death ray. No boss has kicked my ass this hard since pre-hardmode Skeletron. After filling up my home with tombstones, I finally repaired the alien invasion. And of course I challenged the sorcerer again since I can't let my defeats slide so easily. And after 30 minutes of dying, I learned I can just strafe left and right to avoid the laser spam and kill him without taking any damage. The fight basically boils down to this. In the first phase, I'll just use the cheese method and the Eye of Cthulhu to whittle his health down. In the second and final phase, I'll just spam the Terra Blade and strafe left and right. With this tactic, I was able to rack up my sorcerer kills until one of them dropped the Influx Raver, and it's godly on first try. I then farmed a bunch of Planteras till one of them dropped the Seedler, which as well as the Influx Waver are components required for crafting the Zenith. After all that farming, I decided it was the perfect time to loot the dungeon and passing by some cultists along the way. It didn't take long for me to discover the first biome chest and unlocking it. While searching for the hallowed chest, a spooky skeleton wizard jumped me out of nowhere and I killed him immediately, looted his body and got the Robbing the Grave achievement. After fending off the inhabitants of the dungeon, I found my quarry and looted the rainbow gun inside. Once I returned to surface, I got the Rainbows and Unicorns achievement. As I got bored from doing all those side quests, aka getting those achievements, I grabbed myself some truffle worms and summoned Duke Fishron. I got him really low first try, however he didn't let that slide and killed me. The following attempts went as well as you'd expect.
I literally...
Let's just farm some pumpkin moons instead. I activated the spooky event, and the first 7 waves are kinda tame, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes these bosses with names I cannot say or YouTube demonetizes me, they are very annoying as their rockets deal so much damage. It's even worse when 2 of them spawn right next to each other and you don't have a proper arena to fight them. After killing 2 pumpkins and getting absolutely nothing from them at all, I survived 14 waves of the pumpkin moon.
Bye, have a great time.
I do need to grind this event a couple of times since the pumpkin drops the Horseman's Blade, which is needed to craft the Zenith. After dying to the Morning Woods projectiles, hold on, pause, this doesn't go in. Where was I again? Ah yes, the pumpkins still refuse to drop anything other than the Horseman's Blade, even not dropping anything at all. I even survived the 15th wave of the Pumpkin Moon, but guess what? Still no Horseman's Blade. I took a break from the Horseman Blade grind and farmed werewolves for the Moon Charm. I also farmed a bunch of golems to get the Sunstone. Together I crafted the Celestial Stone and the Moon Shell, and I combined both of them to craft the Celestial Shell. Alright, let's do this one last time. My name is Madame Baked. I was slain by Morning Wood, and for the last 3 hours I have been grinding for the Horseman's Blade. With better accessories, I once again challenged the gentleman living in the sea. Although I did fairly well in the first few phases, unfortunately I took some damage in the second last phase. Part of me wanted to combat log and reset the run, however I had good faith in myself and trusted my reflexes. I honestly didn't expect to pull that off. The Celestial Shell came in clutch. At that point we are 2 swords away from crafting the Zenith. The next day I slaughtered the cultist squad and the lunar cultist didn't appreciate me jumping his homeboys. The fight is so manageable that you don't even need to build an arena, you just need a flying mount and circle all around him. The projectiles and the flying dragon are annoying to deal with, but other than that he's just a walk in the park. I don't know man, maybe you should stop worshipping the moon, it's a cringe religion anyways. After the lunar cultist got sacked, 4 celestial pillars erect out of the ground and I decided to whack the Stardust pillar first. This is my first time going in blind and I was amazed by the beautiful background and the damage the mobs do to me. I almost took down the pillar without dying once, but the hordes of minions had other ideas.
Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
I'm glad they didn't reset my progress because killing 100 more minions for me to have a chance with the pillars again are so cringe. Apart from the Nebula Floater dealing absurd amounts of damage through its projectiles, the Nebula Pillar is very manageable and I did it first try. However, I cannot say the same to the Solar Pillar as the quadrupeds there just keep on targeting me without any reason and I just keep dying and dying to them. 10 minutes of dying later did I realize you can just stay on the ground and avoid the quadrupeds attacking you entirely, since 99% of the Solar Legion are ground-based units. With that knowledge I held my ground and destroyed the orange erect shaft swiftly. Last of all is the Vortex Pillar, and let's just say my experience there isn't the best. From Storm Divers to the Alien Queen hitting the distorted debuff, that makes me look like a drunk driver and taking massive damage from the surrounding mobs, I held on, overcame all odds and destroyed the last pillar. Well, time for Moonlord I guess. Yeah, I don't think I'm ready yet. And I have to once again kill the Lunar Cultist, the 4 Celestial Pillars, in order to have a chance at the Moon Lord. Yeah, I don't know about this, Chief. Maybe my weapon of choice sucks. Maybe I'll try out a new weapon like the Daybreak. I heard it's a pretty good matchup against Moonlord. Never mind, I'm bad at the game. This all a skill issue, it's my fault. What's up guys, Madame Bacon here, and today welcome to my Terraria Let's Play episode 100. Oh my god guys, 999 fragments for each celestial pillars. Don't mind if I do. No way guys, a chest full of potions. I'll take that. Wow guys, I totally mined off camera and got all that loot. I certainly didn't use someone else's world to steal all their hard-earned stuff. No, that won't be me.
That guy is fucking cheating!
I then crafted 32 celestial sigils that are totally legitimate, buffed up, and summoned Big Daddy Moonlord again. It didn't take me long to pop his left arm, his right hand, and eventually his shiny forehead. What remained for us is to literally break his heart. After a long and gruesome fight, the Moonlord had no chance against a cheater like me, and he crumbled away just like the sorry sack of cow shit he is. I opened the treasure bag and it awarded me with a star wraith. I then threw away the cheated celestial fragments since I felt bad about it and it's way too unfair. Not for the potions though.
You can't keep getting away with it!
I killed my second Moonlord and this one dropped the Meow Meow, which is the last sword I have been missing on to craft the Zenith. I reforged a legendary Zenith. I then used all the 49 Luminite bars I smelted to craft a full set of solar armor and a pickaxe upgrade. Before farming more Moonlords, I tossed my Rod of Discord and Claminator into the Shimmer to get the Rod of Harmony and the Terraformer respectively. Since I forgot to bring the Sparkle Slime Balloon along with me, I made an artificial Shimmer biome myself, tossed in the slimy balloon, and summoned the 8th and final town slime. I continued on my Moonlord murdering spree until the 5th one dropped me the Terrarian. As it was approaching nighttime, I thought of a good way to showcase the weapon. Yeah, by summoning all 3 mechanical bosses at once. Although they outmatched me in numbers, I outmatched them in terms of damage numbers. I may had underestimated the strength of the Terrarian, but hey, it could be worse. I could be brain dead spamming the Zenith and the fight would have lasted 5 seconds. I am giving them a fighting chance here. What's great about Terraria as a game is how far you have progressed as a player. I remember struggling to progress in early hard mode since melee gets the short end of the stick every damn time. I had to switch from the adamantite sword to the icicle and finally the Amarok and the Yelets to at least do decent damage against the bosses. Man, those were good times. To celebrate this victory, I crafted the Rainbow Rod to get yet another achievement. As I shifted my attention to other achievements, I got distracted by my first goblin invasion in hard mode. And let's just say they died just like the Jedi Temple younglings in Revenge of the Sith. Massacring the goblin invasion acts as a warning to the old man's army as I'm about to demolish them and smash their ass cheeks.
What do you mean by that?
Who cares about tower defenses anymore when you have the god tier Zenith? The hordes of enemies ain't getting through the portals, man. Stop trying, stop resisting. Ah yes, my bad guys, I should have included the Subway Surfers gameplay right down at the bottom left corner. Oh yeah, I also forgot to include the sticking out your gears for the Rizzler, you're so skibidi, you're so phantom tax, I just wanna be your Sigma.
Do me a favor. Shut the fuck up.
Several seconds passed by and Betsy finally showed up. I honestly don't like the idea of Betsy being gatekept under an invasion type of event since her fight is actually pretty good. Her fireballs, flame breath, and ground slam are pretty fresh from your average Terraria boss moveset. In my opinion, I think RE Logic should do more dragon fights since they clearly understand what makes a dragon great, challenging, and fun to fight against. I kept farming more bed seeds until one of them dropped the flying dragon, which I'll use later on for a specific boss fight. For now, we test the sword on the Frost Moon. While it does an excellent job in melting the HP bar of a single enemy, it lacks in crowd control compared to the Zenith, so I opted for the latter to clear out the hordes in the Christmas event. And I reached the 15th wave of the Frost Moon without even breaking a sweat. Oh boy, the Zenith is way too overpowered. I then manipulated space and time using the settings in order to summon the Frost Legion, in which I had to kill 100 snowmen with AKs. That's basically it. I can truly say this is one of the events of all time. To further test out the flying dragon, I summoned the Empress of Light in night's time, not day, because I'm a pussy and I don't want to be one-shotted by her. From this fight alone, I think Empress of Light is way fairer than Duke Fishron, since her attacks are well telegraphed and I can actually comprehend what the hell is going on. Maybe I should fight her in daytime to have an actual challenge. I then went on a speedrun for the last